Hi there, we're Classy Kind of Trashy. I'm Lori, and this is Cheryl and
Hi.
Tracy.
Tracy, hi. Welcome to the show today.
We're slumber party today.
Yes.
That's why we're all in PJ
Pajamas.
things.
Yes.
And we were going to talk about first time slumber parties, first kisses, truth or dare, and every dirty thing they talk about at slumber parties late at night.
Right.
So we're going to start off with a shot.
We are absolutely gonna
Cheryl
start.
came prepared with chilled tequila.
That is my
And she's
stuffed animal
drinking
right
again,
there.
thank goodness.
Thank God. Thank God
Yes.
Cheryl's drinking again. So, to Cheryl. And you know what? And just that's in case any boys come.
Yeah, no boys are going to come now.
There's something wrong with your couch, Lori.
That's having a son. That is having a boy.
Well, you know what? It's safe if you're sleeping on the couch and someone were to try to break in.
I filled these up really high.
Yeah,
but-
I don't know if I can do that much.
Well,
but-
Note
could
to
do
our
hot
viewers. This is not the house to spontaneously in the middle of the night scare its occupants.
No, it's not. That is definitely true. All right.
Can you get in
Crap.
here? Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh,
I need the tequila after something shiny. I thought it was maybe jewelry or something.
It's
No.
a giant blade.
We ain't that fancy here. So, cheers.
Cheers.
To Cheryl drinking
Cheryl
again.
drinking again,
Woo!
She doesn't have to hide it.
Woohoo, baby.
Woo-hoo!
And boy, is she drinking.
Wow. You made quick work of that. A girl can drink.
Oh, what? Were we only supposed to do half?
You can
Oh,
do
here,
the whole
I'll-
thing.
I'll
Oh,
join
just
you.
Take me a second. Oh. What's going on over there?
Woo!
Cat attack.
What is Flash doing? He's having a
Oh,
good
I
time.
dribbled on you.
All that little extra jiggling noise is our cat playing. So, anyways, how old were you when you were first allowed to do a sleepover? My parents were very strict, so it was.
20.
Oh.
Oh, with like girls?
Well, wait, that could be the next topic. When was the first time you slept over with a boy? I have a funny story about that.
I'm sure you do.
Should I
have a
talk about
funny
it now?
story about. Yes, go ahead.
Well,
Talk about
okay,
that.
you know,
I
and
was
hopefully
thinking
my mom will
of it
never watch this, but
Sorry, Mom.
but I had this. My house was like an addition that my dad had built on, and I had a boyfriend at the time named Tommy, and Tommy Sellers, and he was so handsome, and all the boys would come, and I would sneak them in the house, and Wendy, my girlfriend Wendy, would sometimes be there, and we would have like these serious makeout sessions on my waterbed, and then like my mom.
Wait, how old are you?
Probably around 15.
15. She had a waterbed.
So they would come and knock on my window. I would
I don't
sneak
think
them.
she had one of these.
I would sneak them in my
But
house.
you never know.
And then we would have these serious makeout sessions, and then we would snuggle, and then I would go to the front door when my mom was awake, and I would knock from the inside, knock, 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 and then I'd open the door so she wouldn't know that I was sneaking something out, and I'd say, Mom, Tommy's here for breakfast. And he'd get up, and he's all bedhead and everything else, and she'd be, oh, hi, Tommy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, knocked from the inside.
Yeah.
That way she would think it was coming from the outside. I was very sneaky. I was never like bad, but I was sneaky. I was gonna do what I was gonna do. So, anyways,
Yeah.
but that's a boy slumber party. What about you guys?
But summer. I always had summer. I've had summer parties forever. We always. My
With girls or boys?
girls. It was much later before I had summer parties with boys, but there was no.
You had slumber parties with boys?
Yeah, with multiple boys. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
Boring.
You know what? I love being friends with these girls because we always find out something new about each other. There's just not enough time to
Yeah.
cover it all. So.
Who are you girls? Really?
No, I did slumber parties with my friends. I think my first really big slumber party I was in 3rd grade.
Oh wow!
And
I was young.
I had a huge slumber party, and I invited like every girl that was in my 3rd grade class. And there were so many girls, we had to sleep in 2 separate rooms. And that year, my dad, the town we lived in had, this is ridiculous, but the town we lived in had there was a bank. I don't remember the name of the bank, but their mascot was a squirrel. And because you would you had to squirrel away your money, save your money.
Get it? Squirrel away your nuts? Is that why?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Gotcha.
So, and
That's
the
a
name of they had a kids savings account program called the Squirrels Club, which I was a member of.
The Little Nuts.
I was a member of.
The Squirrels Club and Little Nuts.
And Filbert the Squirrel was their mascot.
Filbert the Squirrel.
And our neighbor was.
I need to get out.
Our neighbor was the bank president, so he had the costume, because they would have these events at the bank, and Filbert would come in his costume. So my dad borrowed the costume.
Aww.
And he came to my party dressed as Filbert the Squirrel.
That is really funny. That's so sweet.
That is.
That's a good
That
story.
was a good story.
Oh, excuse me.
That wasn't
Have a pie baking.
I never had any slumber party. I don't think I had any slumber parties at our house. My parents were just not into that whole thing of having multiple children in the house. I'm surprised they had us. But I can't remember. I think. Oh, okay. I know what we used to do. We used to sleep over. I don't remember how old we were, but I'm pretty sure it had to be somewhere between like 4th and 7th grade, probably 4th and 5th grade maybe. And my sister had this friend, KK. And we used to all sleep over at KK's house.
So that Kiki, that's the
Kiki,
party
yeah.
with Kiki.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
And we used to sleep over at KK's house, and I remember they had no air conditioning, so it was always hot, and I could never sleep there. And half the time we would spend the entire night out on the swing set. I don't know
awesome.
why. But it never failed, and I apologize, KK, if you're watching this, but it never failed. But the night of the slumber party was always interrupted by a cockroach.
Oh.
And for those viewers who aren't in Florida, if you've ever seen a Florida cockroach, they have a wingspan probably about, I'd say, 7 feet.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
They're pretty big.
They're pretty big here.
And I can't sleep when there's bugs. I didn't like slumber parties because I never got that much sleep. But
Oh, that sucks.
yeah,
that's a funny,
So I always tried to get out of the slumber parties.
I was a fan of the slumber parties. I mean, I really was. We had slumber parties all the time. I think big, huge parties with lots of girls, different places, and different people would have them. But yeah, I think I went to a lot of slumber parties. And
That's funny, just not to get off the subject, I don't want to get on the subject of bugs, but the first time I saw a flying cockroach that I can remember in my house, because we do have those in Florida, they could be the cleanest house in the world and one will turn up. I remember seeing it fly across the room, and I said, "Look, Ma, butterfly." I just thought it, but it was, she's like, "That's not a butterfly." So my fear started ever since then, and I've now ruined my son, who's, it's like, "Mom, I don't like bugs because you taught me that I should be afraid." Anyways.
they're pretty gross.
It's very funny, when I was younger, I didn't like those, like, big girl events. Like, I didn't like brownies, I didn't like Girl Scouts, I didn't like any of that stuff. My dad, we joined Indian Princesses, and it was Fathers, and we did more like outdoorsy things, and I remember I used to like doing those kind of things, but I never liked the girl stuff. I was really quiet when I was little, so it was not easy for me. The one thing I did have, like, I was more better with like 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 or something like that, but I do remember that in my house, when there were farm stores, drive-through farm stores, and they had the best ice cream. So it was like a real
Their vanilla
treat.
chocolate chip ice cream was so good.
My mom usually used to get like vanilla or chocolate, or but we would, in our house, would eat these heaping bowls of ice cream, like, and then I would make like a, do a whole thing and make a milkshake and slurp it and soup it, and I remember going to a friend's house, and they had a lot of kids. They must have had like 5 kids, and spending the night at their house, and they were going to give us ice cream, and when we got the ice cream, it was just this one little scoop. So I was like, they were the nicest family, but I just remember thinking, wow, this is a lot of ice cream, because I was used to these heaping bowls. But when I got older, I enjoyed slumber parties. But when around 3rd grade, I was definitely not outgoing And it was really difficult for me. Even I remember like Girl Scouts, we'd go camping. I just, I was never good with the girl thing.
I did not enjoy Girl Scout camping. That was my most miserable experience, was going to Camp Ginger Cascades. And it was the worst experience of my life. And I wrote letters back to my mother telling her how could she do this to me, and I was miserable. And my mother would say, she got the letters and she told my dad, she was very upset. She was like, let's get in the car. I'm going to go get her right now. And my dad was like, no, she's going to be fine. She'll be fine. Just leave her. It was horrible. It was absolutely just an awful experience. And I just wanted to come home. And
well, there was that song,
no fun.
Hello, Butter.
Yeah.
Here I am at Camp Granada.
Yes.
Life is very
It's
entertaining.
horrible.
And they say
I did not
It's
enjoy
not
getting
raining.
up. And then I sent my
But
kids
it's
to
in
camp
houses.
too. And
No,
So
I never
they
went to
didn't
camp.
enjoy it
And
either.
No, I never went to camp.
alligators.
The only camp, Kathleen's house, KK's house, it was the coaches was the only camp. No, I'm wrong. I did go to, when I was briefly in Girl Scouts, we did briefly do a camping thingy. It's Florida. It rained. Everything flooded. The tents, we were sleeping in soggy beds because it was just nasty. No, I'm not a camping person.
I am not a
I'm
camping
just
person either, and you
No.
know what? Maybe it comes from growing up in Florida, but it is not fun.
It's not up
It
north.
is not fun.
Totally different experience. Down here, there are insects so big,
Snakes,
bigger than turkeys.
alligators,
No.
bugs.
No.
I mean, it's not a fun experience. I've never enjoyed it. There was a few years that my son and I would go camping with my sister and her girlfriends, and they were always very well equipped. Like, they were the best girls to go camping with. But I mean, we were on the beach, so it wasn't so bad. But we would actually spray our camp with like bug spray, like for the no-see-ums and the mosquitoes and the But normally it was okay. But no, I hated camping, and
No,
you know what?
not camping.
I still do. Just, and then the ground here. The ground here is coral. So
Yeah,
you can't sleep without an air mattress.
No.
You're sleeping on rock.
My idea of
Rock.
camping. Is sitting on the balcony at the W.
Yes, let's go camping together.
Yeah.
Anytime. I think that's a great idea.
I would not do well in a zombie apocalypse at all. I would be the one hoarding up in the W until it absolutely collapsed around me.
I'm getting the look because Grace agrees with that statement from me, because I do not do well either.
Yeah, but having to do with, well, we don't want to get off the whole topic here, but having to do well, and like we don't have to do that now.
Yeah,
So
we don't
why
have to
are we
camp.
going
if
to
I
do
have
it?
to camp,
You know what I
can't.
mean?
No,
When
no.
the time comes and you have to do
but-
something, you deal with it.
But we were that was one of the things we were going to talk about, was the
The apocalypse.
apocalypse and the bags, because we did make a
Bug out bag.
bug out bag.
But I think we should save that for another episode.
Yeah, we're
But
talking
you know
about
what? Okay, so but you know what?
Sleepovers.
Speaking of sleepovers, okay, I remember like doing like really like when the parents went to sleep. There was sometimes Truth or Dare, or there was Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, or
I hate that game.
I hated it. I hated that. And
That
then
was
Light
the
as a
worst.
Feather.
Oh
You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
Light
we
as
did
a
do Light as
Feather?
a Feather a lot.
You know what? I really want to try that as an adult. Because when you were a kid, I felt like we really lifted
You did.
people.
Oh, you really did lift people. We did.
I didn't have.
Did
any
you
of
never
these
play
people.
Light as a Feather?
Or
Really?
Bloody Mary, but no.
Well, why don't you
Okay.
lay down?
This is.
Well, Light as a Feather is nothing bad. Nothing bad.
It's the extent of sleepover kind of things at home have to do with the guy down the street sneaking in beer and Tark's chicken wings in my window, or Slim Jims from the Frito-Lay truck next door that he robbed. I didn't know any of those. I wasn't getting invited too much. See, my mom worked at
Aw.
the school, so yeah, no.
I'm sorry, but
Sorry,
you're
Dana.
invited to our summer
But it's
parties
okay.
anytime.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So I would sneak out a lot.
You know what? And you know what? I would too. And that's how I learned to be sneaky with the boys. Because then I would have them knock from the inside. There was a really funny time. My girlfriend Wendy, and she, oh my gosh, well, my curfew was midnight, so we came in at midnight, and then this is a funny story. And then we went to sneak back out, and our friends were supposed to pick us up on the corner. So I go in, I check in with my mom, and then we go to my room, and we sneak out, and then we had to hop a fence. So we go to hop the fence, and my jeans, I could have ripped my butt. But my jeans, my favorite stonewashed purple jeans, the whole thing just ripped. So now I have half my butt hanging out. But the gate's shaking, and I'm thinking the dog's barking, and I'm like, my mom's going to wake up, so we go running. We were a little under the influence of some things, which we won't, anyways. But, we go to the corner, and our friends never came back. So we were having this long discussion of what we were going to do, and she wanted to go walk to their neighborhood. Now I knew, even though I was not in my right mind, that I should be walking to a whole nother neighborhood at this time of night, 2 white girls, and we lived in a very mixed neighborhood. So we ended up going back to my house and stood out all night long, and we were the whole night, like, how are we going to get back in, and blah, 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 because we weren't hopping the fence again after what happened to my pants, and we sat there all night long on this, and we had sunglasses, and it was like, if the sunglasses we had them on, it was like not reality. If we took them off, it was reality. They were the dunks. Remember the dunks that had the palm trees on them?
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
You didn't have those up there.
No, probably.
Dunks were just, they were just the thick frame glasses in the 80s. But sometimes they had a print on the outside,
right.
like it was metallic.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it, but it might have palm trees or skulls or something like that. But anyways, when we finally wised up closer to the morning, I was like, well, let's just walk in the front door, and that's what we did. We spent the whole night worrying how we were going to get in, and it was a really funny night. It was like one of those fun things to remember that we reminisce about.
I think we had one night I was staying the night at one of my friends, Janine Riding. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Wendy.
Janine and Nicola, they were sisters. And we spent the night at their house, and my friend Sharon. So the 4 of us were over spending the night, and we decided that we were going to sneak out. And there was this guy that everybody didn't like. I won't say his name, just in case. But nobody liked him. We decided we were going to roll his house. So, with the toilet paper, right?
I was
okay.
going to say, what does that mean? Roll his house. I've heard of drive-bys, but I didn't know.
Whoa, there's something. I really had a very sheltered childhood. I don't know how to roll.
We didn't roll down here.
Well,
we did drive-bys.
We
would
would take toilet paper and we would just string it everywhere, all over the house, all over the yard, all over the cars, all over everything that we could get it on. So we decided we were going to do that. So we snuck out of her house, the 4 of us, and we went and we bought a big, huge, 16-roll thing of toilet paper. And we went to...
So the cashier had no idea what you were going to do. Of course.
So why are these 4 young teenage girls buying a big roll of toilet paper? So
that's it.
We rolled his house, whatever. It was really late. It was probably 2:30 in the morning. So we're walking back, and I'm really tired, and Nicola's tired. So Nicola and I say to Janine and my friend Sharon, we're really tired. We're ready to go home. And they're like, no, we don't want to go home yet. Nicola and I are like, well, we're going home because we're really tired. So Nicola and I go home. We go back in the house. We're in her bedroom, not paying any attention. The phone rings. Nicola answers the phone, and it's the police.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're like, yes, can we speak to your parents? And Nicola looks at her eyes are giant, and she's like, it's the police. And I'm like, what? And they're like, they picked up Sharon and Janine.
Oh,
and we're like, oh, my God. And she's like, they want to talk to my parents. So she had to go wake up her parents. And her mother, they were British. They were from England. So her mother gets on the phone in her little accent. And they had to go pick up Sharon and Janine because the police had gotten them. And so what's funny, the whole funny part was that Nicola and I did not get in any trouble at all. Because we had already gone back to the house, and they knew I tipped it out too, because they were the ones that got caught. And I remember poor Sharon, I think she was on restrictions for 6 months.
Oh, restrictions. Oh gosh, remember that being punished, where you couldn't
go on restriction.
Oh, restriction. I'm on restriction for 2 weeks. I can't talk on the phone.
I was on restrictions all the time.
Yeah, I was
pretty much a continuous part of my high school existence.
Yeah, restriction a lot.
I was a lot of things I missed out on because I was restrictions.
Well, that's why you had to sneak out.
But was there really anything back then they really could take away that mattered? Because
absolutely.
There were no cell phones, so they couldn't take away my cell phone. No computers, couldn't take away my computer.
The phone.
I didn't
that back then was on the wall. You couldn't talk to your friends on the wall.
No, I never
on the wall.
talked. I never talked to friends on the phone. Anyway,
the extra long cord that you would sneak into your room.
Yeah. wrap it up?
I needed to get out more.
No, I would definitely to take the phone away and to
And
I
not
realized
go out.
I realized that like
I couldn't
today
go out.
we are so hooked to something. We're communicating with somebody really all the time. You know what I mean? Even if you wake, like, as I'll wake up in the middle of the night, my phone's next to my bed, I'll hop on Facebook or Instagram, I can like something. There's some type of communication going on. I realized back then, but to take the phone away and have none, or then to say that you can't even go out and see your friends. So if you weren't going to school, if you got a restriction during the summer, this was a desolate time.
You just had to sit at
You know?
home.
I was excited because then I could read all the time, but I didn't get restrictions.
Not me.
I needed to go out and hang with my friends.
No, I definitely was.
When
I
had to
definitely
sit
was
at
social.
home and I couldn't go
I
out.
definitely was social. It's very funny because same thing with my girlfriend Wendy. Because see, my girlfriend Wendy, she lived around the corner from me, and there was another girl, Teresa Sagisi, and there was my old friend Marlon Ferdinand. Anyways, some of us used to meet on the corner, like at my house. So if we had to talk about something, we'd meet at the corner, and we couldn't even like meet at the corner. And I remember like her parents could not understand, like we would spend like hours together and then we'd get home on the phone and talk for hours, and her mother would never understand. I'm like, and I never forbid Nicholas or anybody from talking on the phone because I get it. You know what I mean? Like we could all hang out together and then go home and start messaging each other on Facebook.
Which is we do often.
Or while we're sitting beside each other on the couch.
Yeah.
We do that as well.
Well, it depends. If it's during an
We're like-
episode of something that you need to watch where there's a no talking allowed, then you have to know.
This happens at her house. Yeah, yeah.
Because my husband won't let anybody talk during The Walking Dead.
Well, and I completely understand. No, we don't talk.
Okay, we have to wrap it up.
We have to wrap it up. We're having so much fun.
We'll have to do it again. But anyway, thank you for joining our slumber party. We never did Truth or Dare.
Yeah, or Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Well, we'll save it for another episode. We're going to put Cheryl on the floor in a minute and do
the lightest. We're going to try it out.
Oh,
Okay, wait, let's have a shot first. No, I'm just kidding.
one shot too.
Okay, we were.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Nighty night.
Sweet dreams. Hey out there in internet land. We're so glad that you watched us. We hope you enjoyed it. And we want to keep making these. So we'd love for you to comment and subscribe. The more subscribers we have, the better. And then we can do all kinds of fun things. So thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye.